Hey everyone, today's video we're going to be taking a UTB 18 Capra and using some of its parts, converting it over to the Dlux Fab Markhor mini chassis. Make a little mini comp crawler out of it. I'm not going to go into super detail on it. This is relatively easy to switch over. The chassis bolted together, no problem, using the stock skid. So I'll just show you kind of the main steps, maybe a little bit of run footage. Try not to make the video too long. Let's get to it. Okay, got all the parts on the bench. Got the UTB 18 Capra, which I'm going to be pulling apart and using a lot of parts from. Went with the HPI Rover tires. These are 1.9 inch rim, 3.8 inches tall. The Dlux Fab front axle shafts and aluminum knuckles. The Dlux Fab Markhor chassis, which I hope I'm saying that right, but all carbon fiber. But what a size difference compared to the cage on the UTB 18. So that's the chassis I'm running, came with cross members and some body panels. Also running the Dlux Fab portal gears, which are 22% underdrive, so I'll be putting these in the rear. And for a power system, I went with the Furytech Python, made for the UTB 18, with their Komodo 2208 motor, 2500 kV. It's a system that goes together. I also bought one of their Avatar micro receivers because I already have one of their Avatar controllers that I use on Minry, my 24th scale bouncer. Then I'm gonna go with a set of trio bead locks, aluminum bead locks with the heavy center rings. I think we're gonna go with silver, but I might grab a different color depending on what servo I go with. So those are the parts. So I'll start getting this thing tore down. We'll go from there. 18 Capra. I'm not gonna show the whole tear down, but pretty much take the shocks loose, take the skid loose, get this cage out of here, and get all the stock motor and electronics off the transmission, because we're going to reuse the transmission and the skid. Alright guys, that came apart a lot easier than I thought. 4 shock bolts, 4 screws in the skid, and you're able to separate the cage from the whole bottom half. Then you got your 2 plugs for your motor, and the wire for the steering servo is actually on this extension. So I just had to unplug it and pretty much came right apart in just a few minutes. So the next thing is I'm going to take this transmission apart, or get this motor off, get the servo off. Tore down pretty easy. Stock motor came out. Just gotta be careful because trying to reuse the stock pinion, ended up stripping out the set screw for it. But had some spare parts, had some spare set screws, so I got the stock pinion on the new Furytech motor. Got it lined up, got my pinion depth set, so I Loctited the new set screw on there. So now I'm going to get this motor bolted up, try to get the gear mesh right, and we'll go from there. I think I got a little ahead of myself once I started putting this together. But got the Furytech motor in there. Ended up using the screws that came out of the stock motor. Worked well with this. So that's mounted up real nice. Started putting the new chassis on, which the 2 screws in the skid lined up, bolted right up, no problem. But then you should really look at like Dlux's website, for these cross members. I'll try to get a good, there we go. So these cross members, you have 3 different lengths, 47s, 51s, and then I think that was a 60. Because the chassis isn't straight, it has a taper to it. I think you can kind of see it there. So definitely look at Dlux's website putting this together. I'm using the stock shocks from the 18 Capra, and the Dlux kit came with the metal balls, so you had to just switch out to the metal balls on one end of the shock, which I had to flip these over so everything cleared. Yeah, I used all the included hardware, get the chassis together. In the back of the chassis, the side actually flexes out, so then the shock bolts in, you know, between the 2 panels. And same thing, had to flip the shock, so the bottom cup, you know, is now at the top. And that was mostly to clear the chassis. But everything bolted up well. You just got to pay attention to what length cross members you use, and then what length screws you use also. Because like the one up here where it goes through both pieces of carbon fiber had a little bit longer screw. So use the longer screw on that one, shorter screws on all these others. But yeah, went together well. Thing is looking really good. A lot lighter than the stock cage. Says the stock cage for kind of a comparison. Let me move these tires so you can see it against the white background. But yeah, stock cage versus the Dlux mini chassis. Quite a difference there. So I guess next I got the FuryTech Python. I got to get mounted in here, which is just a plug and play system. So I'll get that plugged in. Got to make sure my battery lead faces forward, even though I think the batteries I got to have plenty of lead. But yeah, I'll figure out how to mount this Python ESC and get back to you. I got the ESC mounted. Might be kind of temporary, but seemed to fit in pretty well onto the side panel. I just got a few zip ties holding it in. Got the wiring just kind of zip tied together. Micro receiver on the back. Got the servo in. Reef's 299 LP. Then I ran the servo wire just down along the top link and into the chassis. So that's all plugged in, ready to go. Got the wheels and tires mounted up. These are the HPI Rover tires, 1.9 inch rim. I believe they're 3.8 inches tall. I use Trio aluminum bead locks with the heavy centering. Mounted up no problem, using the stock foams that came with these. But yeah, going good so far. And I think the next step is I got the 22% underdrive gears from Dlux. So I'm going to put those in the back. And then I also have the Dlux front axle shafts with their aluminum knuckles, because I believe Dlux uses oversized bearings, you know, larger than the UTB 18, so they include the knuckles with the shafts. Alright guys, got the build pretty much wrapped up for now. I did install the Dlux Fab 22% underdrive portal gears in the rear. I got the front axle shafts switched out. I have the Dlux aluminum knuckles, and then it's a little hard to see, the Dlux heavy brass portal covers. So it should give it pretty good forward weight bias with all that brass on there. Switched out the stock plastic steering link to these adjustable trio links. And also put in the Dlux Fab battery mount, which gives, it's just like a carbon fiber plate behind the servo that you can strap your battery to. And that's a 450 milliamp Gens Ace 3S. But that's kind of wrapping up the build for now. Probably won't get any run footage in this video. I don't want to make it too long, but just kind of wanted to show you the biggest part, big steps of switching a UTV 18 into this Markhor mini chassis. Alright guys, hopefully you made it to the end of the video. That wasn't too boring for you. This was a pretty fun build. Of course, filming the video right now, I've had a little bit of time to run this, and it's pretty surprising, very capable little truck. Definitely get some more runtime on it, make any more mods. Hopefully the next video be just a run video of this thing out on the crawler course. So thank you for joining me, and I hope you enjoyed today's video.